What's up, good people? My name's AJ, and I'm coming at you with a video here about why I've decided to pursue the CFP exam. So if you've seen my channel before, you already know I'm a CFA charter holder, and in my professional designation journey, it looks like the CFP is going to be the second and hopefully final designation that I'll be shooting for. I'm going to talk about two things in this video: why I've decided to take the CFP exam, and then also a little bit about my plans, how I plan to study and prepare for the exam, and what I'm going to do coming up towards that date. Well, many of you probably know that the CFP does a great job of marketing their designation to the general public. It's generally considered a strong fiduciary standard for people working in the wealth management industry. There are even organizations out there that only allow members of their organizations to work with financial advisors who are CFP professionals, and so it's really generating a good reputation, at least in the United States. I don't know too much about other parts of the world, as being the most important designation for associates or advisors in the wealth management industry to hold when they're managing people's money. I'm cognizant of this, my employer is as well. There are a few other folks in my firm who are CFP professionals. So, they want me to pass, they want me to have the designation. It looks more better after your name. You get pulled up on the CFP website, I believe, when people search for advisors that are CFP professionals. And just overall, they'd like me to pursue the highest level of professional designations that I could probably attach to the end of my name. So I wasn't surprised that they asked me to pursue it, but I gotta be honest, I was torn for a little while on if I wanted to pursue the CFP, and I have a specific reasoning here. Hear me out. I don't want to sound like I'm putting down the CFP designation or any CFP professionals, and I hold it in fairly high regard myself. For whatever reason, and actually probably because of the golden pedestal that I've always held the CFA charter on when I've been coming up through the industry, either through college or shortly new into the industry. When I see someone who is a CFA charter holder and CFP professional, so they have CFA, CFP after their name, it always has seemed to me, and this is probably stupid because of course the general public knows of the CFP much more extensively, and it's much more respected, I think, by regular people than the CFA charter. But to me, I always felt like it muddied things up a little bit. It just looked always so clean to me, and I respected it so highly when you had, Mary Smith, CFA. And I saw that just visually because of my perception of the CFA charter and what that meant about Mary Smith, that I thought, she's one of the best investors in the world. She's exactly what you want when you are looking for someone to invest your money with. So when I've seen other folks with CFA, CFP after their names, for whatever reason in my own head, it doesn't look as clean cut. It looks like they maybe are using their CFA charter to whatever standard it should be held at, since they're also doing financial planning, which is what the CFP designation focuses on. I don't know exactly where that notion in my brain came from, but over the years, just seeing people with both of those, well, one being just CFA and one being both after the name, I grew to develop a liking to just having the CFA charter listed after my name. So I had this conversation with my employer. Basically the conclusion was, AJ, you're being stupid. No one will actually think that, and you should probably get over your own personal quirk against having both of them listed after your name, which I 100% agree with. And I've probably gotten to that point now. So I just wanted to mention to you all, because I don't know if anyone's really shared that feeling before. I don't know if I just don't know if it looks as good when you have both of them listed, but that's really not what's important to me, not the status or the look or anything. I'd rather just be a more marketable associate in the wealth management firm that I work at. And of course have the extra knowledge and training that the CFP program will probably provide me. Another very important factor for me is that I'm already a CFA charter holder, and the CFP program, or College for Financial Planning, recognizes a few designations, so CFA, PhD, or I believe CPA, maybe a couple others, as prerequisites for all of the educational courses that you would have had to take. So if I wasn't a CFA charter holder, at least by my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, I would have to take like a lot of college classes, because the college that I studied finance at was not a financial planning curriculum, so it's not recognized by the CFP as eligible prerequisite education. It doesn't meet their education requirement, is what I'm trying to say. So I'd have to take night classes for like at least a year or maybe 2 years just to be eligible to take the CFP exam. But because I'm a CFA charter holder, I can forego those requirements, which is a great luxury for me, and it's just another reason that taking the CFP exam won't be that much of a burden. Another factor why I was pretty open towards taking the CFP exam, and again, if you're a CFP professional, please don't take this the wrong way. Anyone who's done both CFA and CFP programs would tell you that the CFA program, at least from what I've read online, from people's takes on it, and I haven't done the CFP program yet, what I've seen is that the CFA program is many times harder than the CFP, and some people will report just studying for 50 or 75 hours or whatever to pass the CFP exam. So knowing that it won't be nearly as much of a time commitment, you know, I studied for 3 years for the CFA, and for the CFP I could potentially study 3 weeks. So if that is the reality and the exam is that much easier than the CFA exams were, then it's just kind of a no-brainer. My employer's going to pay for it anyway. It doesn't cost me anything. I have the study material over on my desk already, so I might as well just put in a month's worth of effort studying 3 hours a night like I always did for the CFA exams to add another very marketable designation to the end of my name. But another point that I made to my employer about taking the CFP exam was that I wanted it to be my last one. I really don't like when someone has, I almost want to say 3 or more, I'll say 4 or more designations after their name, especially when people have like 7 or 8. Number one, it just looks really terrible on a business card or an email footer or anything like that, because the letters after your name are 3 times as long as your name even is, and it looks like you're like some kind of a dictionary, at least in my opinion. And it just seems really unnecessary. All those different designations are not going to be adding too much information to you on how you conduct business, especially given the fact that the CFA exam is the hardest and the CFP exam will also be more relevant to my specific role. And between those two programs, I'll have all the information I really need to conduct business at the highest academic level. So they're really just unnecessary, and I don't think they look good. And I probably don't agree, and I probably wouldn't agree that the rest of the general public thinks that looks good either. So I won't be doing any more after the CFP exam, and my employer was cool with that too. I think they're kind of on the same page as me. So it's also kind of nice to know going into this one that it will be my last one probably in terms of academic programs that I'll need to pursue here. So my schedule, I think I'll be taking the CFP exam in September. It's July right now, so I want to study 50 hours, 3 hours a day. It's going to be, call it 2 weeks. I think I'll just study for 2 weeks and go in and take it. I should be able to pass. If I fail, I won't be happy about that, but I can always try again. You don't have to wait a whole year like the CFA exams. My employer's paying for the registration fee, and I'm pretty confident that I'll be able to do it. 2 weeks would leave me just shy of that 50 hours I mentioned, so whatever, maybe 2.5 weeks I'll study for the exam. Got to get registered here shortly, and then, you know, probably middle of August, early August, I'll start studying lightly and then take it pretty seriously for the last couple weeks there. If there are any CFP professionals watching this and I sound like I don't know what I'm talking about, or this is a really bad idea, please let me know. I am not offended by criticism and certainly open to it. But in the little bit of reading that I've done online, again, I think my plan sounds all right, and I should be able to get through that exam, knock it out, and then have both designations after my name. Hopefully it goes as easily and smoothly as I am thinking, and I will give you all an update after the fact. I'm going to make an update about studying the material, comparing the difficulty of that to the CFA material, and then also after the exam, hopefully after I've passed, do a little reflection on my participation in that CFP program. But let me know in the comments if anyone else has any questions or thoughts about this, and I will update you all later. Thanks for watching.